Hi everybody, welcome to the dungeon. My name is Robin and today is Flameworking 101, no, Flameworking in Black and White, volume 23. I've been wanting to show you guys a little bit about how to make Murrinis, and I think the best place to start is very simple from the beginning, and we'll work in a couple more videos from here. Let's go ahead and start out by making just a clear inside and a color on the outside. This will end up looking like a really cool three-dimensional ring inside of your glass. I just love how it looks with the clear on the inside. Most of the time, Murrinis are, the sliced view can be really, really intricate, and these amazing pictures of skulls and bumblebees and, butterflies and all sorts of great stuff. But I don't make that kind of stuff, so I'm not really a prolific Murrini maker, if you know what I mean. I just want to know the basics. Like, if I really want to know how to make something, and the Murrini is a good way to present that idea, then I definitely want to know how to make it. So let's go ahead and start simple. We'll see where it takes us. I have no idea. All right, with that said, everybody take care, be safe, and we'll see you next time in the dungeon. Okay, let's get into this Murrini. So the first thing I'm going to do is start out with a whole rod of clear. That's about how much I use for this demonstration. And it gave me quite a few Murrinis to play around with. I'd say it probably gave me about 10, maybe more, depending on how many Murrinis I'm going to end up using in a bead. So you really have a good amount if you use a full amount of clear, full rod of clear. And I'm going to get a nice big ball of clear hot and stick it to the end of a punty rod. This is really going to help me out when I go to make the pull. The clear won't start pulling off the ends. And I just continue to bundle up as much as I can, and having it on this nice thick little punty rod also helps to kind of keep everything stabilized and not moving around so much. Okay, and I'm just going to do a final shaping here, getting the body nice and round, and that will become the inside of the circle. So you want this to be exactly the shape that you want it to be when you pull it out. I'm going to be using black. I did use white for the bead, but I'm going to try here. I'm going to try to use black if it works with me. Sometimes it just wants to pop off. Anyway, I'm going to heat up the tip of the black and just swipe it down, going all the way around. If you want a really, really thin ring, then just go around once. I decided to go for a slightly thicker ring, so I went around twice. And depending on what you're looking for, you can vary the amount of clear and the amount of color that you have on any of these. A variety is really nice. And I'm just heating everything up. I did add a little bit of black to the front ring as well. Now I'm going to add my other punty. My shape is I'm slightly tapering the ends of my shape into a little football. And that will help the ends to cool down a little faster than the middle when I go to make my pull. And just that little amount can really help make a nice even pull. Now I am just putting all my heat in the center and waiting for the glass in the middle to feel soft all the way through. And then I gently start to make my pull here. This is in real time right now, so you get an idea of how, the timing that I am doing when I'm making this pull, because I want it to stay nice and thick so I get a good slice of Murrinis and a nice consistent slice of Murrini cane, or slices the whole way through. If you go to cut your Murrini and it starts to break and crack, it might be because you have a bubble in there. So do be careful of bubbles being trapped inside the Murrini cane. Sometimes they can bite you back in the end. But here I have my cutters, my disc cutters, and you can see I'm just going through the process of cutting these Murrinis down. And I wanted to show you this just so you could see how they look and the size. Awesome. Okay, let's use these in a bead. This is a really sweet little silvered black and white bead. And I do use silver foil. I don't use silver leaf because it is just not thick enough. I just can't handle it's just too thin, and it tends to burn off super quick. And there are times when I want to leave the silver nice and foily and sparkly and shiny. And there's times where I want to burn it down, like I'm going to do in this video. And I'm going to start here by just getting some black on my mandrel, about 1 inch or so on the mandrel. And I'm just going to roll this out into a little tube. And this is going to be the very center of everything. I want to roll this out, make the edges real nice. Okay, now let's go ahead and pick up the silver. Your bead should be slightly on the cool side when you do this, and roll it up real good. I like to use a few layers when I do this. It only makes it look better. And then using the back of the knife, I will burnish down all of that silver so it totally covers the whole bead. There's no air bubbles in there. And then I'll immediately go up into the heat and burn it all off. And it just makes a great pattern that you can see right through these Murrinis into. And we're going to go right into the Murrinis. This is not on a hot plate right now. I don't have a hot plate set up, and I just, sometimes I like to show videos like, if you don't have this, then here's your best bet if you don't. So I'm just heating the bead up and going and picking up those Murrinis. You're not going to get them all every time. This is just to kind of play around with the idea. Now, you can also pick the Murrinis up individually and place them. Just be careful of introducing them into the flame. They might crack and pop. But just to start out with, have fun with it. If you have a hot plate, use it. If you don't, it's okay. Now I'm just gonna get everything coated in clear, starting from the top, working my way down to the bottom. And I do go over the Murrinis. There is some texture there. The Murrinis are not fully melted into the black. I'll swipe a little bit of clear on there at the end and pick up the Murrinis right on that clear. That'll allow me to pick up a whole bunch at once and then go right back into the heat and start flattening things out with my knife. That will help out immensely. I add a little bit more clear there and go to pick up just a couple. If you don't flatten them out, then the white will overpower everything and rise to the surface. I did cut out a lot of footage of me picking up these Murrinis because at this point I was starting to bore myself. All right, now for the final coating, we're gonna go over all of this, and you can see that there's bumps happening because there's different layers of Murrinis going on now. And that's exactly the look that I'm going for, is lots of layers. It doesn't have to be perfect. I want it kind of chaotic happening here. Very spacey, if you know what I mean. The rest of this is just heating it up and dealing with a larger bead. I definitely like to work in the center of the mandrel. This really helps me out because I can switch the bead around. I can hold it with 2 hands. It doesn't feel real cumbersome when it gets large. Now, right before we're finished, I am going to add a little bit of silver wire. And to do that, I just heat up a spot on the clear and stick that wire to it. Wrap it around a few times, and then heat the wire off. And what you're left over with is a nice little string of silver dots. It's really beautiful, and I think it looked great on this bead. I hope you guys give the Circle Murrini a try, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Take care.